Welcome to the Nerd Party.
They can travel anywhere in time and space.
Right. This is gonna be fun.
Up we go into time and space!
Welcome to Time and Space, the Nerd Party's dedicated Doctor Who podcast. I'm Jessica Nunn.
And I'm her husband and co-host, Phillip Gilfus. So we are here at Gallifrey One, and probably the best thing about Gallifrey One is that we get to podcast in person with people.
Oh, I thought it was the little ribbons that we get that I already have loads of.
But of course, we have a special guest, a
Yay!
LA denizen, and of course, fellow host here on the Nerd Party, and that is Charlynn Schmiedt. Charlynn, how are you doing?
Hey! I've had a few shots of vodka at this point, so I'm doing great.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun.
Hey, you know what? I'm spending time with you guys. We're having a fantastic evening together. It's good to be here.
Right, and one of the things about you, Char, not to put you on the spotlight here, is that
Please do.
It's going to be the spotlight.
Right, is that you were new to Doctor Who.
Yes, I am. I mean, it's all your fault, too, because you were the one who said, hey, if there's any season where you should start watching the show, it's this new season with Jodie Whittaker and the 11th Doctor. Okay, I'm going to do it. And I did. And then you said, but don't stop there. And I said, what's the next entry point? And you said, well, there's a few avenues you could go. And we ultimately decided mutually on the 9th Doctor. Mm-hmm. And so I've watched a couple of episodes of that now.
Well, the first one's always free. So...
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Now, of course, we've had you on to talk about some 13th Doctor episodes, but having sat with it for a moment...
But not in person.
Right,
we haven't had her in the room.
Where it happens.
When we were talking about.
Yeah, so, but and you told me earlier you have not seen the New Year's special, so other than that, but overall, having seen, I suppose, the proper season, quote-unquote, what have you thought of the 13th Doctor, and really, Doctor Who as a whole, and we'll go into your 9th Doctor introduction later, but just as the 13th Doctor, which is what you knew of Doctor Who, what'd you think?
I mean, as a season overall, I thought it had its ups and downs. There were some episodes that I really enjoyed. There were others that I thought were just kind of, oh, okay, whatever, next.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, next.
Thank you, next. Thank you, Ariana Grande, for that phrase there. Yeah.
You've made all of us very hip.
And yeah, it felt like a first season that was getting its footing. Mm-hmm. And that's how I treated it. And I thought, I'm going to forgive certain things about this just because this thing needs to figure out what it is. And I'm not a diehard Doctor Who fan. I'm there for the ride. I'm there to just kind of casually observe and see what it is. I'm not taking into account every little detail at this point. I'm no expert. Mm. I'm just enjoying it for what it is. And you know what? Overall, I enjoyed it for what it was.
Sure.
Are you looking forward to the next season?
Definitely.
And what were your high points?
I really love it when they do time travel on Doctor Who. I loved going into the past. I would love to see them go into the future a little more. The creepy crawly stuff doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'm not really into the big bad enemy of the week. I prefer more of the time episodes. Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, and coming from I know you have many fandoms, but of course Star Trek is probably one we at least know most here on the network. But what do you sort of think of this whole Doctor Who phenomenon? I mean, I know you do. There's a 50-year plus history. But just based on what you're getting, what do you sort of think of the whole concept of Doctor Who?
You know, I feel like this is a show that I'm going to watch, and I'm not going to maybe take it too terribly seriously, where I have to stretch my suspension of belief to just kind of go with whatever the story is telling me and get out of it whatever I will. I'm never going to be an expert in this show, I don't think. And that's okay. I'm totally cool with that. In fact, I think I'm going to prefer it that way, where Doctor Who is going to be the show that I watch casually, and I enjoy it because I just want to watch it whenever I do watch it. Whereas with Star Trek, I've watched so many things, so many times, over and over and over. Mm-hmm. You can't help but get bothered by some of the technicalities, or this and that, and random things that really, I mean, do they matter? I don't even know. At this point, after 50-something years, it gets very convoluted. Also, toxic fan bases are a thing. Star Trek has it. I'm sure Doctor Who has it. I don't really participate in that sort of a thing with Doctor Who. And so, you know what? I'm just kind of going with whatever I enjoy.
Well, I don't know if you know that Doctor Who's a woman now. And that's...
Oh, really?
That's too different.
That's,
I'm not watching.
No, hashtag not my doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing
they're
this
so
crap.
PC, you know, what they're doing.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, it's been a man, and why does it need to be a woman?
and now they just want to do
heaven forbid.
messages, and
Because heaven forbid, it's always been a 50-50 chance. Okay.
And after 12,
I mean, we should have several female doctors after this point just to even the score.
For 50 years.
Yeah.
Although, interestingly enough, when David Tennant was interviewing Whoopi Goldberg on his podcast, she said she wanted to be, particularly around the 8th Doctor when it was very American, she was like, I could be a doctor.
She sort of submitted her resume.
Right?
Oh, Whoopi Goldberg is a doctor?
Wouldn't that have been interesting?
Holy
Not only
crap.
a woman, but a woman of color.
And an American woman.
And an American.
And an American?
Talking about blowing the Twitter mind.
Oh, holy crap. I don't think the Twitterverse can handle that, but you know what? I'm so on board.
Wouldn't she have been great?
I love Whoopi Goldberg. I really do. I mean, she's a lot of fun. Phillip, you and I, we got to see her at Star Trek Las Vegas in 2016. She was nothing but gracious and a lot of fun, and I feel like she would be great as a doctor. She would be a very unique doctor. Yep. Would a lot of people hate her for that? Oh, sure. Probably. But would she give a crap? No. And those of us who loved her would love her. And you know what? That would be fantastic.
Yeah. So when Jodie Whittaker has finished her 3-year run or whatever she chooses
I want Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg might be the next choice. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong.
By then, I mean, Whoopi will be... I don't know how old she is, but
Yeah, I
she's
mean,
her Capaldi
be
age.
a much older doctor. But, she'd blow your freaking mind.
She'd blow your freaking mind. She is, quote unquote, past that so-called prime, right? Where maybe she'd be in her 60s by then. Maybe she already is. I really don't even know her age.
I thought so.
But who cares?
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Now, one thing about sci-fi generally with science fiction is that, you know, it's sort of a lot of outside Star Trek tends to be a bit dystopian. What do you feel the tone of Doctor Who is? Again, it's a British show, so a different culture. What do you sort of think of the tone of them?
I don't feel like it really treads on anything too optimistic or too dark. It sort of has like this level playing field where it has certain levels of low that it'll hit, but it's not drastic dystopian low. Even though you introduced me to the Ninth Doctor, and I watched through episode 2 so far, where they were talking about the end of the world, but it wasn't. So it's kind of that level where it's bad, but it's not so bad. There's always a certain level of optimism it hits, and then it sort of levels out. It's always good.
And as you've gotten into Doctor Who, Jessica, what have sort of you thought about the tone compared to other shows, both in and out of sci-fi?
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree with Char, is that it never, and obviously at the minute, dystopian sci-fi is the place to be.
Well, for some of us, I don't know about you, I'm tired of it.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, but I agree that Doctor Who tends to sort of dip in that direction and then pull right back out of it.
I would say that it dips into the realism aspect of that part of life, and yet manages to keep things more optimistic than not. If not optimistic, it's at least keeping things at kind of a normalized level to where we feel okay at the end of things.
Yes, which may be an important thing to feel at this point in time.
And you know what? As a casual viewer, I feel very good with that, where I can come out of an episode not feeling like, oh my god, the world is ending and I just want to die.
Yeah.
Or,
now,
everything's
and now
great.
We have to choose who's going to die. I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I don't really want that out of my entertainment anymore.
No.
Feeling okay is perfect.
Yes. Yeah. So, having seen 2 of the Ninth Doctor...
let's go into that.
And all of the 13th, how do they compare?
Well, I found some marketed differences where after watching the first episode of the 2005 season, I kind of felt like, well, the Doctor is a little bit different.
Is it the ovaries?
Or lack thereof.
I do feel like the 13th Doctor is a little more compassionate toward her companions overall. Now, that said, I've only watched 2 episodes of the 2005 season, and I did notice in the second episode there was a little more compassion. The first episode, however, let's track back a little bit.
Yep, Rose.
It was more like the Doctor was, okay, this is what I'm going to go do, and if you want to join me, that's cool, but whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like he didn't really necessarily care that much for Rose at that time. However, by episode 2, there was definitely much more empathy for what she was going through because he realized just how different of a situation she had been thrust into. I mean, she was watching the end of the world. She had realized that her humanity was absolutely just like gone. Her mom was dead. Anybody she knew in her world was gone. And she was in this world that was so completely different from what she was used to. It was a massive adjustment for her. I'm glad they acknowledged that, too, by the way. Mm-hmm. And he said, look, I understand if this is overwhelming. If it's too much for you, here is your out. You can leave right now. And then she did choose to stay, which was great. I felt it was really important to acknowledge that. But because I think for the average person, we would feel very much like Rose. Mm-hmm. If we were just suddenly thrust into this weird world and we didn't understand what was going on. And yet, is it fun? Oh, heck yes it is. Absolutely. If you're open to the experience, which I think Rose is, which is why she ultimately chose to keep going. Mm-hmm. Despite the danger. Because it was far more interesting than what she had in her life. I mean, her poor mother, she's just going to think that her daughter has a long hangover the whole time. Yeah. Were you out a bit late, mate? Really? Wow. Yeah. So, I don't blame her one bit.
Boyfriend?
Whatever.
Ricky Mickey?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just going to find somebody else. It's fine.
Oh, no.
All right. So, having seen the 13th Doctor...
he is, but... That's later down the line, and you'll find out.
Okay, so we're going to check in. Is that it? That's kind of cool.
No spoilers now.
No spoilers.
Okay,
no, I'm
spoilers,
just saying,
darling.
Yes, we're going to check in.
Yeah, so having seen the 13th Doctor and having seen 2 episodes of the 9th Doctor, what are your questions?
Well, I guess...
Any questions about the Doctor?
Although, can I just say, we will pause this at some point to show you a little bit of Billy Piper.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, because
I promised to do that. And we didn't.
I already confessed off mic that I do not know anything about this actress's past history and what she's been a part of or not, and therefore there's a lot of things I need to learn.
And probably the fact that this is her first time being an actress.
Yeah. I sort of want to pause here.
Okay, we can. So
let's
listeners, we're going to pause. And then off mic, we're going to explain to Char who Billy Piper is. And then we'll come back and see her reaction upon being told that she's now being the companion for Doctor Who. And pause. Alright, so we've now shown Char the music video from Billy Piper's Top of the Pops hit.
And discussed briefly her first marriage.
Right. So, imagine you're, so Star Trek, whatever you want to pick here. You're a fan of this franchise. It's been dead for approximately a decade. I'm not doing the real math here. But it's coming back. Chris Eccleston.
Who is a theater actor,
movies.
Big name.
Elizabeth, the movie with Cate Blanchett, who's been stage presence. Who's a name in British acting. Who's
definitely a name.
And then, so you're like, okay, that's a great. And then
great
for his
catch.
Companion, the one-hit wonder, Billy Piper.
The pop star who married Chris Evans for a little while.
But not the Captain America Chris Evans. The presenter for Britain and... not the Captain America.
Not the Chris Evans most people know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I could get on board with the Captain America. No.
Okay, yeah, you know what? When you put it into context, it is an unusual pairing, putting this very accomplished actor with this one-hit wonder pop star.
It's like playing the first officer of the ship.
wondering, like, okay, does she even have the chops to be the second fiddle on this show? I do find it an interesting combination. Now, however, not knowing any of that, watching the first 2 episodes, I thought nothing of it, and I thought just, that's Rose. That's who she is, and I thought she did a fine job.
No, and
it really doesn't taint my perception of her.
And you've only seen 2 episodes, but I mean, she's great. She's great as Rose.
I mean, she really,
brilliant.
she does have the chops.
We love Rose.
Yeah, she apparently, I mean, she can show up and do a good job. Maybe it's that whole teen pop star stigma that's getting her, is just, we don't expect much from it. Because it's bubblegum pop, and you're going to dance around and bop around, you're going to wear a halter top and show off your midriff, whatever. Apparently there's
Britney
more
Spears
to her
is starring as the XO.
Right.
And
I
it's
mean,
something that we've talked about a few times with this reboot, the idea, because Christopher Eccleston, despite being a very well-known, trained theater performer, he is very northern. He is...
Hence the line in the first episode, also planets have a north.
Right.
And very sort of rough around the edges, and Billy Piper has that as well. And the idea...
Sort of, quote-unquote, if we're making this American terms, blue collar.
Yes, that they were going for much more blue collar to appeal to the Coronation Street sort of soap opera-y, and British soap opera, which is much more blue collar.
General audience.
Okay.
Outside of the posh city urban.
Yeah.
So they're going for mass appeal here.
Yes, that is
okay.
That is my perspective with those 2 in their casting, is that,
Okay, I mean, really, if you're making that decision as a casting director, then you've done your job.
And so, this is a bit of a spoiler, but I'm going to give you the same experience that a person watching Doctor Who would have had as you are.
Yeah.
So you're watching this first episode, and you're like, oh, right, this is great. Or I don't know, what's your opinion? And then the news comes out, Chris Eccleston's leaving the show.
And you're probably thinking, hooray, that's fantastic, great person, right?
Yep, and so the news, after the first episode premieres, Chris Eccleston's leaving.
What? Why?
Does that happen that quickly?
Happens that quickly.
Wow.
What the hell happened?
Wow.
Because they shot the whole... I mean, I don't have everything in front of me, but generally speaking, they shoot early. Season's in the can, and they gave him a 1-year contract, and he's like, well, I got other stuff to do.
And so, and that was... I mean, he had booked all of those things because he didn't know if it was going to work. It had been out of commission. And
right. He's thinking it won't work. He's going to do 1 or 2,
again,
and then you know what?
Old franchise.
He's going to do the whole season, but it's not going to necessarily... He's picked up his paycheck, job's a good one,
and they've given him a 1-year contract. They haven't given him a 3-year option or something, or, 6-year like they would do in Next Generation or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And so the 9th Doctor, and he had booked other things. When it turned out to be a thing that was
viable.
I
mean, he just did not see the writing on the wall, I guess. Nobody predicted that it would make this massive comeback that it did.
And they were also afraid to make... BBC or whoever the powers that be were afraid to make the gamble of... We'll give you a 2-year, 3-year.
Yeah.
Because they're also saying, we don't know if this will be a hit again.
And he wasn't prepared to make the gamble, so he was out booking other gigs.
Right. I mean, he had to
he's a movie
do what was best for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I guess that was that. Well, that's a little disappointing, and yet I completely see I completely see where he's coming from. I mean, he's got to, think about his career too, and at the same time, I'm a little disappointed as a fan just because in the 2 episodes I've seen, I like this Doctor.
And then so go back to Jessica's question. What is the difference between 9 and 13? I know you said the compassion element. Anything else other than gender, of course? Any other?
It seems to be a little more about him than it is about the companions, just in terms of him thinking through things. He's not necessarily thinking with them, he's thinking just with himself. And so it's a little more like, okay, I'm the mastermind, I'm the brains of this operation, you can come with me, and we're going to go on an adventure.
But you're going to stand next to me, not necessarily.
Now, I mean, I've not seen a point where maybe Rose is going to come in with some great idea just yet. with the Doctor and bouncing ideas back and forth and thinking together. It doesn't seem to be that way at all, whereas I think with the 13th Doctor, she would, for one, I think be much more open to that, and two, she would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, now I really want to see, we got to get Char back.
When she's done,
watched
of course.
Some more. I want to see how, once it starts to grow.
And I know you haven't seen any Doctor...
Hashtag spoilers.
You haven't seen any Doctor deaths or regenerations or this whole bit.
No.
The whole concept of the show. But, and again, this is a little unfair to you. You've only seen 2 episodes of 9. But do you buy into the episode that this is the same character?
Yes. I do see enough similarities to where this is another incarnation of the Doctor. And I kind of am enjoying the different ways that they're introducing, even though I've only seen 2 at this point. But, like, one of the more stark differences I saw was in 2005 Doctor Who, it was much more you're getting thrown into the action, and off you go, and you're going on an adventure. And then in the 2018, 13th Doctor, it's much more, let's set the stage. Here are our characters. Here are some of the big storylines. We're going to kill off Grace, and we're going to make you sad about that, because that's going to be kind of one of the bigger overarching themes of this first season, at the very least.
And that everybody dies?
Certainly the guests of the week really don't seem to stand a chance at all on this show, ever.
Although Mr. Big survives. I just want to say that.
Give it time. Maybe next season.
He may come back and die off.
I think he should.
And I'm looking forward I'm looking forward to Chris Noth coming to a Doctor Who convention, just as I'm from Doctor Who. Like, no, you're from many things.
That ain't it. Yeah. Now, question: do you think? You came in on 13.
Yes.
And Chibnall's whole purpose was, let's bring in new viewers.
Uh-huh.
Let's gear this season towards bringing in new. And you were talking about the 9th Doctor, you come in hell-bent for leather, off you pop.
Yeah.
Do you think, if you had started with the 9th Doctor, you would have stuck with it at that point? Or would it have been too much? What?
No, I think both are great introductions to the Doctor Who franchise. So if you're looking for somebody who wants a really intense adventure, introduce them to 9. If you want somebody who wants a little more slower storytelling, 13th is going to be great. I appreciate them both for different reasons. And I'm curious to know, as I go through and I see the introduction of other Doctors going forward, how each one differentiates just a little bit, introducing kind of the regeneration and the starting of a new story. How are they all just a little bit different and yet telling some of the same stories?
I can't wait till she sees the War Doctor.
Yeah, because there's interesting things of where you will have a Doctor regenerate and have the same companion.
Uh-huh.
Right, so it's the same companion with 2 different Doctors.
Interesting.
Other times you'll have a clean break where it's just reset totally. Like with the 13th Doctor, everything... White page, starting from 0.
All brand new.
And the same thing with the 9th Doctor. Obviously, you get a completely blank slate.
Yeah.
But, again, small spoiler, but once the 9th Doctor regenerates, Rose stays. And so that...
Okay.
Watching her move from the 9th Doctor to the 10th Doctor. And
you know what? That's exciting, because it's going to be interesting to see how she interacts with that next Doctor as opposed to this Doctor, because these two, the 9th Doctor and Rose, they have immense chemistry. Even before it was official, I knew that she was going to be the companion, just by the way they got on.
Yeah. Which,
because I think in some ways... and
can't wait till you see her with the 10th Doctor.
Because you can correct me, but like with the 13th Doctor, I don't know if there's necessarily a companion who's a audience stand-in. Versus Rose clearly is, she's the main character because the name Rose is the first episode.
Yeah.
She is you, introducing you to the Doctor, whereas 13 is like, it's everyone.
That's a very interesting dynamic. Rose is the stand-in for the audience, whereas I feel like, in a way, for the 13th Doctor, her companions are her team.
Right. Team TARDIS.
Team TARDIS. Hello,
Hashtag
fam.
That's right.
Yeah, they're the fam. And you know what? Those are different things, and yet I'm appreciating them for what they are.
Because that'll be interesting with Rose, having to deal with the regeneration of a new doctor will have to take you to accept that this is the same person.
Right.
And so whether that's successful or not.
How's that going to go?
Yeah.
Right.
Because we were talking earlier, all the way back to the very, very, very beginning, when the first Doctor regenerated, not that they called it that back then, but into the second Doctor, we were talking about the fact that there were two companions, Ben and Polly, and the writer set up that Polly was like, oh, well, that's the Doctor, and Ben was like, who the heck is this dude? And so you had them in that first serial.
Both sides of the audience. One set who were, still the Doctor. And another set that was like, I don't think it is. And
oh boy. So is that setting a trend for things as they've gone along?
Yeah.
And they vary. Because again, Rose sticks through that regeneration. And then the regeneration following that, clean slate. And then after the 11th Doctor regenerates, his companion stays with the 12th Doctor, and it's a whole different.
Because you get the showrunners. Because right now, with the 9th Doctor, you have Russell T Davies, who rebooted the show. Reboot's not the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Redid the show, restarted it, resuscitated the franchise, might be the better word. Because, it's obvious, it's still keeping, the numbers are still the same. It's not like it rebooted from 0.
Sure.
It's the last Doctor was 8, so now we're on 9, and we're just keeping on going and making it new. But then Russell will go for a while, and then Stephen Moffat will take over with the 11th, and then Chris Chibnall will take over for 13, and so then we go from there.
Right, and then somebody else in the future at some point.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very curious, as a new fan, when there is a clean break, why does the companion leave?
I think, in my opinion, it would be just that the new producer just wants to...
Well, not the logistics behind the scenes.
Story-wise, I think by the time that the 10th Doctor regenerates...
Watch spoilers now.
Well, no, not necessarily, I don't think. He has been through several sort of smaller... Adventures with companions.
Okay.
And so there isn't necessarily...
Yeah, there's this great clip, and I can't find it, and I've seen it before... It's an 11th Doctor when... I'm talking to Jessica here for a second. It's when the 11th Doctor's talking to Brian, Rory's dad. And Brian's saying, you need to take care of them. And what happened to the rest of them? He's basically saying, the Doctor is the father of one of the companions who've been disappearing, of course, in time and space. And he's concerned, what happens to your companions? And the 11th Doctor says some of them leave. Some of them move on, and some of them have died.
Okay,
And so that's sort of that harsh reality that he's telling to this parent of the companions, that this is the risk you take.
Right. Well,
and I feel like, though, when the 10th Doctor regenerates, he doesn't have necessarily a full-time companion at that particular moment.
No. Yeah, and it's just interesting how all the production works with those Brits, with how production works. Because, and this is not, because you'll forget this by the time you get there, but with the 10th...
Except it's all on audio. So.
Right.
So if you need to remember, it's like, we are not the silence, darling.
We'll have to know that. So 10th Doctor had a lot of, TV movies, for lack of a better word, in his last season.
Okay.
So he, proper season, then here's, 3 TV movies.
Okay.
Or specials, or whatever you want to call it. And then 11th Doctor sort of did the Battlestar Galactica half-season.
Okay.
For a year it'd be half a season, then the next year it'd be half a, and that, which is very annoying. But then, of course, you'll...
Only to Americans, because British TV loves to change structure all the time.
They do.
Yeah.
And it's very annoying. But then, of course, eventually, not yet, but eventually, when you'll get to the Doctor Who Christmas special.
Oh,
which is
yes, I've heard about these.
Tradition. Now, because with the 13th Doctor, hers was a New Year special, and that was a little bit of a change in the franchise. That was shaking things up.
Yeah, and I have not watched that yet. I don't know why I skipped it, but I don't know. I didn't quite get there. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that will introduce you...
It's worth looking at.
It'll introduce you. I know you're a newbie, but you'll get to it eventually with 9. But it'll introduce you to the Daleks, which is the infamous villain of Doctor Who.
And which is what my Dalek dress.
For Gallifrey.
Yeah, I theoretically know that these are alien, evil, enemies. but I do not know much more about them beyond that at this point.
And so I saw something on Instagram, which doesn't mean it's true, of course, but at least the rumor mill was that, one, this is random, but was that Yaz's police career will come up again in the next season.
Okay, good.
It'll be more of a thing.
Well, we're, of course, hoping it's just a Yaz season the whole time. But
Yeah.
I mean, could we learn a lot more about Yaz, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was horribly neglected. I mean, we learned more about her ancestors than we learned about her
Yes.
in the first season.
And that's particularly frustrating because it appears that Jodie Whittaker and the young lady who plays Yaz, whose name completely Mandy, are great friends. And so we're like, yes, more yet.
No?
More yet.
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
Because I think a lot of people like the
I'll wait.
chemistry. You know, of course, people take it to the shipping extreme, which is fine. Whatever, we can all do our thing in fandom.
That's why we have fanfic.
Exactly. But anyway, but obviously, people see that there is certainly chemistry there. I've always thought that that Yaz is sort of playing assistant doctor or assistant to the doctor, depending on your point of view. You know, whereas Graham and his grandson have their own sort of storyline going as well.
Ryan,
Ryan.
Graham and Ryan are doing their own thing, and poor Yaz.
But anyway, the second thing that I saw on this Instagram post was that Crystal start bringing back classic Doctor Who. By classic, I don't mean classic. When I say classic,
enemies.
that's all of Doctor Who. I don't just mean the classic era, which refers to the pre 90 or
But
2000s.
enemies that people who watch Doctor Who will be familiar
Cybermen,
with.
Daleks,
Sure.
Ice Warriors.
Yeah. And there are, I mean, that's the lovely,
Slurs.
and it's one of the things that I really love is when the bad guys sometimes reappear. Or even when the good guys reappear. I mean, when you get to the Paternoster gang.
That's going to be a while, though. Don't tease her too much.
That's so exciting. And they will sort of occasionally reappear. And they're good guys, and they're, Because I
think the thing with the 13th Doctor, in many ways, the aberrations that are there, for instance, what we call the crowded TARDIS, that does not happen in nuWho, so with the night. You're not going to see a crowded TARDIS for a while. It is just 1 or 2, up to 3 with 9, because you'll get Jack and you'll get Mickey. But anyway.
but even then, it's not, they're not all together.
Right, it's not going to be the solid 13 were the 3 companions. It's just going to be one.
I'm also so excited for you to meet Jack.
Right? I have no idea who that is right now.
I know. It's so exciting.
Yeah. And
I have a lot to look forward to.
Yes,
I do.
Yeah.
And one thing, and again, this is not a spoiler, but I think it was the thing I like most about the 9th Doctor is that he can be very dark, actually. He can be a pretty not dystopian, but he can be a pretty dark character, but he also has this humor, too. He is and he may have mentioned this in the second episode, but he's a war survivor. I mean, that's his the Time War, and the last of the Time Lords and all that.
Yes, he did.
But he still has this humor and everything, and all this.
Yeah, that is one thing I like about just the Doctor in general, is that the Doctor has this kind of wicked sense of humor. But you are right, he did tune into a little bit of that dark side, revealing a little bit about who he was, because Rose was really pushing to know, who are you? Where are you from? What's your past? Why are you here? What are you doing? What is all this about? And so he gives her some answers, maybe just enough to appease her for the time being. And I mean, it's kind of interesting.
Pique the interest of the audience.
Sure. I mean, we obviously have a lot more to learn, but it's just enough to kind of give her an idea that, okay, yeah, this guy's been around for a little while. He's been through some things.
And it'll be interesting as you continue the rewatch, because, of course, it's not until you get partway through at least the 11th Doctor that the Time War history is really explored in the 50th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
Special. And that takes you... and that's the one that Phillip introduced me to first. So that's the first thing I saw.
Okay. Now, what did you think about going into it with that?
It was intriguing enough that then I needed to know. I needed to. Once I saw that, I needed to start at 9.
Okay.
And work my way through it. And it's absolutely. I think it's absolutely stunning. And we're already at the 11th Doctor, but Rose makes a reappearance. And again, we're starting to get these characters who have gone, who have moved on with their character life in whatever way, but keep making reappearances.
That's kind of cool.
That is one thing about the franchise. You're always part of the franchise, and they will not hesitate to bring you back. We watch. There are several. We won't go into all of it now. But there's a few spin-offs of Doctor Who. One is the Sarah Jane Adventures, and she's a classic companion from the 70s and 80s. But anyway,
and you'll see her in the 10th Doctor.
Right.
Okay.
Because she'll rock up with the 10th Doctor and be like, "Where the hell have you been?" Even though you were. She was with the 3rd Doctor.
Third and 4th Doctor.
Wow.
And now the 10th Doctor's here, and she's like, "What? You just left me?"
Yeah. And then when she has her spin-off, there's an episode where another companion of the 3rd Doctor comes back for an appearance, and she hasn't been on Doctor Who in like 40 years or something, And
here she is.
So
that's cool.
They will
It's
bring
absolutely
characters
delightful.
back, and they have
Mickey's gonna show up, and I'm not giving you any more than that, but Mickey's gonna show up at the end of the 11th Doctor? 10th Doctor, sorry, the 10th Doctor. I mean, Mickey's gonna show up all over the place.
Yeah.
And, and that's the thing, the Paternoster gang, and, River Song. You've got River Song.
No. Stop.
Excited about
Spoilers.
that. I'm just giving her names. It's fine.
Right, I have no idea what that means right now.
But all of the, and that's one of the delightful things, is that you do have, even though the Doctors change and the companions change, people keep popping up.
That's kind of fun, though.
Yeah, that you know. And again, Sarah Jane showing up in a 10th Doctor episode, and she hasn't been with the Doctors as she leaves.
Fourth
is it the
Doctor,
4th Doctor
yeah.
that she
That would
finishes
have been
with?
like
So she does
70s.
3rd and 4th Doctor, and then shows up with the 10th Doctor all of a sudden, and it's just absolutely just such a joy.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, for the fans who've been through the franchise from start to finish, that's a nice revisitation. And then for those of us who maybe don't know who that is just yet, it's a great reason to go back and see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I think that's been interesting for part of this podcast that we do, especially when we did our first season in our library TARDIS segments. I would say, here's the first episode of Sarah Jane, who you've seen here, and this is when she was, 20-something, meeting the 3rd Doctor for the first time, and we'd watch that, or something like that.
Yeah. Or, here's the first time the Silurians show up.
Or the Master.
Or the Master. The Master. Oh, you have so much to look forward to. I'm so excited for you.
One episode at a time here.
I know, I understand, but now I want to go back and watch it all again.
We still haven't watched all the classic yet.
No, I want to start back with Eccleston. I love him.
No, but because Chris is quite an actor, but he's in temperament, pejoratively, but he's actually a great actor also, and so I think you will enjoy his run. I think in my opinion, I would need another season with him, totally. Not even just like being. I'm like he had so much more to do.
Yes, but he's a very interesting character personally. I mean, he doesn't do cons very often.
I imagine he's busy doing other acting projects.
Well, he's an
busy
actor.
being an actor.
Right.
These things are a little bit sort of beneath him, I think, is the general.
He's there for the craft. He's there for the craft.
Sure. Well, I mean, and so be it. I mean,
and then whatever. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But it's really interesting because you've got following him David Tennant, who is
Scottish, doing an English accent.
Yeah, well, yes, but I mean, sort of accepts that.
But he was a fan too.
Well, I think that makes a big difference, too.
Once you're the Doctor, you're always the Doctor. And I think Christopher Eccleston didn't want that mantle.
Did he think that maybe he would end up typecast? Is that kind of an old trope that...
Possibly, and I think that he saw it just as a job. And now I'm the next job, and so I can't look back at this one. But yeah, as you say, David Tennant is very much a fan. He married the daughter of a doctor.
Oh, no kidding!
Yes.
Wow.
And there is
there's the wonderful episode of the fifth Doctor. Fourth Doctor. Fifth Doctor.
I don't know what you're saying, darling. You have to spit out the sentence.
David Tennant's father-in-law.
Yes, Fifth Doctor.
Fifth Doctor, who's at a convention panel, and somebody was like, "What's the weirdest thing a fan has ever given you?" And the Fifth Doctor's like, "Grandchildren." because his daughter and David Tennant married.
Oh my god, that's freaking great! I mean, these are the things about the fandom I don't know.
Yeah,
and David Tennant and his not then wife are in an episode of Doctor Who.
Oh wow,
called The Doctor's Daughter.
Yeah, so that's
well
so
done,
and that's where they met.
Yes, the Doctor's Daughter is the Doctor's daughter, and then they had a daughter.
Yeah. Oh my god, the paradox.
And then there's a special where the 10th Doctor meets the 5th Doctor. So it's father-in-law and son-in-law acting together as the Doctor.
Watch my head spin.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's another thing.
A long
that is a tradition of Doctor Who. Multi-Doctor stories.
Okay.
Where you have...
Which you'll get that at the 50th.
It's where you bring Doctors together.
Ooh. All right.
In one story. So very classic, like in the classic era. I think it started with the 3 Doctors. And then...
Makes sense.
Next one, I think, was the 5 Doctors. And then the 6th Doctor had the 6 and 2 had an episode together. That one we saw. But yeah, there's a tradition there of every anniversary or something. Bring them together for a story.
For a big reunion.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the 50th anniversary will bring lots of people together.
Lots of people. In fact, all of them. But anyway.
Not all of them.
Well, they were all there.
Christopher Eccleston will never return again. Or hasn't yet.
Yeah. Well, maybe give it time. When his career has wound down just a little bit, he has maybe a little more free time. Maybe he will go back and kind of embrace the franchise a little more for what it is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Because I'd love to see it. Because
because I like him.
Yeah. And the 50th is sort of, the 10th and 11th Doctor and the War Doctor and all of the
And that's it gets confusing, but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Who doesn't fall under the numbers. And,
but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's a lot. So, one of the things about the Doctor Who franchise is that people can be very forgiving because of timey-wimey.
Sure.
And so discrepancies in the canon slide right through.
Do they not matter as much
as
say, like in Star Trek?
Yeah.
Think of that, instead of TOS going for 3 seasons, it went from 1963 to 1989.
And then TNT started.
Yeah.
10 years later.
Wow.
And so, there's certainly internal canonity, that's not a word. But anyway, in the classic era, which is from 1 to 7. But, And
then 8's its own creature.
And then 9 to current 13.
Right.
Which tends to be a little bit, but
then you also, again, with the 50th anniversary, you get the War Doctor, who doesn't count as a number, but is definitely a doctor.
Okay.
But is not one of the 1 through 13.
Yeah,
so it's
interesting.
Yeah. Don't worry. But anyway, what are you looking forward to in Doctor Who? What are you looking forward to in this franchise? nuWho for now, we know. But
for the moment,
we really have to convince you to do classic. Not that it's bad by any means. It's just different. I mean, do you know anything about classic Who?
Not really.
Okay, so we'll just introduce you briefly. And I mean, obviously, people listening know. But so classic Who is built differently in that they did serials back then.
Okay.
So it would be a episode or a story, if that's better language, but it would be 4 parts, or 5 parts, or 6 parts, or 7 parts, or 9 parts. Yes.
Just pick a number, huh?
And so every episode would be about 30 minutes-ish, and it would end on a cliffhanger. And then part 2 next week.
Okay.
Part 3, and then cliffhanger, and then part 4. And so the pacing's a little off if you're not used to it.
Okay.
A little bit slower.
Okay.
But I'll let Jessica talk about it because she's been, whether you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it.
Would you turn someone onto Classic Who?
Yeah, I think it's worth seeing, certainly, and there are some brilliant companions. I mean, I love Ace very much.
1980s.
which is, the Seventh Doctor's prime companion. And once you get used to it, and the guy that we were talking to today, who we randomly met at the Comic-Con, was talking about, the 6 serials, the ones that are 6 episodes, tend to be padded a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I've said that for a long time, that every time we watch a 6 serial, there's at least one where I'm like, oh my god, is this finished yet? There is nothing here.
4 is standard.
And I'm so bored.
Yeah.
But he was saying that the 6 were padded, but then once you got to 7 or 9 or whatever, it tended to flow better for some reason, for whatever reason. So, you get that. And to be fair, you get with nuWho these overarching themes that don't feel quite as serial as they did in the old Who, but sort of are.
Mm. Okay, yeah. I think I get what you're saying.
You've got these overarching ideas, the silence, for instance, and...
Yeah, so it'll be interesting, of course, I know it's not going to come quickly, but whenever you finish catching up on nuWho, it'll be interesting to bring you back and see what you're interested in seeing from the classic era.
Yeah.
What you feel like you need to see.
Because, of course, there's the black and white era, which is 1 and 2, and then color is 3 and 7, so...
I mean, at this point, I'm game for really any of it, but I'm going to continue with the 2005 Doctor Who, go through that, probably experience the 10th Doctor and the 11th, and kind of go through and then catch me up to where I started, and kind of see where things lie there at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What else do you want to explore? Although I would definitely recommend, and Phillip, you'll have to let her know when that comes in terms of the 11th Doctor, going back and seeing the 50th anniversary special.
That's true. Would it help me to know who those people are before I go into that? Should I go back and watch, or does it matter?
No. Not necessarily. Because, again, that's where I started. Right. And it was the War Doctor, the 10th Doctor, and the 11th Doctor. And then I was like, right, I need to start.
At some point, no time soon, just be good to Google what they look like.
Okay.
This is what the first Doctor looks like. This is what the second Doctor does. Just to see them.
Or just ask us and we'll send you pictures of the figurines.
Okay, fair enough.
That's right. We can just point around the room at this point.
Just put up portraits all over the hotel room.
Yeah, because I think when you're watching nuWho, there'll be snippets. I don't think there's a lot really in the 9 and 10 era per se. I can think of a 10 special that there's one. But I can think of the 11th Doctor and you'll forget that. But when he's introduced, not like his first second he's introduced, but in his first episode, there's sort of this I'm the Doctor moment where the pictures go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then he walks in. Oh, I'm the Doctor.
They do
that's cool.
They start to do some really interesting things. And also, I think before you start the classic, before you consider where you want to start with classic, or before you start classic, I think it might be worth watching Adventures in Time and Space.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Which is the sort of docudrama about the origin.
It's a dramatization of how Doctor Who started.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And it's really interesting and looking at, because Doctor Who had the first woman showrunner.
Producer.
Oh, nice.
And this is in the 60s.
Right. That's awesome.
I'll give you a little bit of trivia. So, Doctor Who premiered on November 23rd, 1963.
Okay.
Did not get a lot of ratings because...
That was the day Kennedy was shot.
Oh, well, yeah, I imagine not.
So, the producer made BBC run it again.
Not a bad move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't predict that being a bad day for ratings, but... Yeah, they needed to give it another chance.
Yeah.
You can't exactly beat the assassination of an American president.
Right. And one of their first directors was
Waris Hussein, who was, not that commonly known, of course, was gay.
But also British Indian. And so, even from...
So, progressive.
Incredibly progressive from the very beginning.
Cool.
Which is, absolutely amazing. But Adventures in Time and Space sort of looks at that in a way that...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great.
Because it basically focuses on William Hartnell. Bill Hartnell as the first Doctor and his journey. So, but anyway.
And the guy who plays Bill Hartnell in that...
The irony.
Will go on to play...
Have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
Oh, sure.
Filch?
Oh, that's him?
That's caretaker.
Oh, wow.
I'm blanking on his name right now, but he plays the first William Hartnell. He plays the William Hartnell. And so after this docudrama, there is a time in the future in nuWho when they decide that one of the doctors should meet the first Doctor, and so they cast
this
him
guy again
as not playing Bill Hartnell, as playing the first Doctor.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have the first Doctor twice. There is a first Doctor who has passed away now, and then there's a first Doctor who's still living, and
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
and is in Broadchurch, which you have to watch.
So you've told me.
Yep.
So
which has the 11th Doctor and the 13th Doctor and the first Doctor and one of the companions to the 12th Doctor. I mean,
Okay, settle down.
All this.
But there's only 10 doctors, or 10 actors in Britain, so that's why.
Yep. That is a true story.
So any other thoughts or questions about Doctor Who before we let you go?
Oh my gosh. As I go, I'm sure I'm going to have a million of them, but right now I'm actually in a very comfortable place because to kind of smoothed out some of the questions and the issues that I had with the Ninth Doctor, thinking maybe he wasn't quite as empathetic toward his companions, and I enjoyed the quirkiness of it, but at the same time, it was a very different incarnation of the Doctor. He kind of smoothed out in that second episode, so now where do we go from here? I'm just going to have to watch and find out.
Fair enough,
Right.
fair enough. And we'll have you on again, maybe after you finish the
9.
Ninth
I would like to
Doctor,
hear your Ninth Doctor
you
reactions.
come back and,
Okay.
let us know
Every
what you
season we
think.
want you back.
Yes, yeah.
You're our first-time Doctor. Hashtag
Yes.
I really
at
have.
first-time Doctor.
Why have I not picked up that Twitter handle? I'm not live tweeting it.
First-time
I'm
Whovian.
I'm just watching it and I'm just enjoying it. I mean, I'm not going into any massive detail on it. I'm just letting it take me wherever it wants me to go, and that's enough.
To be fair, that's how I started. So just
And
be
you know what?
aware of
It's
that.
fun to be that way.
But yeah,
And then
absolutely.
next, you'll be going on Who conventions. Well,
You
folks,
never know.
Next year, Galley One.
Maybe.
We've talked about it.
If you come back, maybe I'll come back with you.
Well, if folks want to talk to you, without spoiling, of course, about your
Please.
thoughts about the Ninth Doctor or your 13th Doctor, where can they reach you about all those thoughts?
Well, the best place is on Twitter, and my handle is the Profanity.
Well, with that, we're going to go into our TARDIS library.
Whoosh.
When you close your eyes,
I go to the library.
go to the library now.
And for this TARDIS library, we're going to continue the Gallifrey One theme by talking about 2 Gallifrey One exclusive comic books, or at least comic book covers that we picked up at the Comic-Con, which, we actually got comics at a Comic-Con, or at least I did.
Yes, that's the way it's supposed to be done, rumor has it.
Sure. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor, issue number 1, with the Gallifrey One, 30 Years in the TARDIS variant cover, featuring Jodie Whittaker with some background, Peter Capaldi, Regeneration Energy, Field of Wheat. I don't know what you want.
Yeah. So presumably in Oklahoma.
Exactly. So this is, the first comic book story, issue, 13th Doctor, all proper, all that. So, darling, I know you're not necessarily big into comic books, but you are big into the 13th Doctor. So what did you think of this first edition?
Yeah, it was interesting. I sort of got confused at the very beginning because I thought it was the Doctor in that one. But it wasn't. They've sort of set us up a little bit.
There are these 2 mysterious people stealing a painting from an art museum. And do you have any theories about these people? I thought something slipped that I have a theory, but I didn't know if you have any thoughts.
Oh, no, I don't. What you got?
Well, later on in the story, I don't know, I don't think this is a spoiler per se, but anyway, so there's this mysterious, as the story goes, the 13th Doctor and the TARDIS team, there's this sort of time anomaly or whatever you want to call it. And at the end, of course, just issue number 1, so the story's just beginning, they pull through one of these folks we met earlier. And she says your
vortex manipulator was messed up.
And
are you thinking it's like
a time agent?
Well, yeah, no, I sort of figured that, but are you thinking it's our?
No. I just thought it was a time agent because we don't get much time agents.
Yes, yeah, I did sort of assume that in some way, and then it left us on this big cliffhanger. So,
but they seem to be,
which I'm mad about,
serving some glam monster.
Yes. Who's not happy about the frame of the painting being scratched.
Yes, it reminded me a little bit, not at all, by the way, the demon looks, but it reminded me of, if you remember Moana, The one Jermaine Clement voice, the big clam or whatever it was, crab or whatever, that had all the jewels or whatever.
Oh, yes, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah. It did not do that for me.
Or even a bit of like the, I'm not an expert, but the dragon in The Hobbit.
Small, I think his name is.
Yeah, something where the S.
Smaug.
Yeah, something more like that.
Yeah, Smaug, I think.
Played by Benedict Cumberbatch, of course.
Oh, was it? Oh, now that you say that does sound familiar. But see, there's your Benedict Cumberbatch trivia that you knew.
And of course,
and I didn't
playing
remember.
opposite is Watson.
Oh, yeah, of course. Ugh.
It all comes together.
It does, eventually.
And I thought it was good. With comic books, it's always the illustrations, obviously, and the writing as well. But I thought it was good. Team TARDIS introduction. I thought everyone, looked like what they were supposed to look like and sounded like they were supposed to sound like.
Yes, although I did have this moment where I was like, gosh, that's got to be so weird, seeing your face in a comic book.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a lot of facial expressions with the 13th Doctor, which is what she's known for, that I thought they captured very well.
It's the nose wrinkles that you love so much.
But I thought it was an interesting introduction for the 13th Doctor into comic books. I don't know if I may or may not follow it. I don't tend to go into that many comic book stores these days that often, maybe once every 2 months or once every 3 months. But
now I want to know what happened.
Yeah,
so
that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
Bastards.
Exactly. So there's a toy store we go to in where we go to church that they might have that because they do actual comics.
Yeah. So, just to be clear, the toy store is not in the church.
No, and that's their loss.
Yeah.
We're always thinking of new ideas. Yeah. Now, the sort of bigger issue, also, with the
we
Gallifrey
have
One,
so many issues, y'all.
was this more of a, I don't know, almost graphic novel size, or maybe a little slightly smaller. But this is called Doctor Who, The Many Lives of the Doctor, with its Gallifrey One, 30 Years in the TARDIS cover. And sort of the way this narrative structure, such as it is structured, is it starts with the 12th Doctor beginning to regenerate, and it's sort of a slow-motion regeneration where we sort of get seconds of, so the first page is basically Capaldi regenerating and blowing up the TARDIS, and then we basically go through these sort of different references of the different Doctors, but then we sort of get these very small stories of like 2 to 3 pages of each Doctor. Each Doctor.
Every Doctor.
All the way up until the ending, of course, into the final regeneration with 13, looking at herself through the console. So, we don't have to go in detail, but I guess we can kind of just do some highlights here. So, what'd you sort of think of... And then each Doctor has its own writer and illustrator, so it's kind of interesting to see, someone's handling... each Doctor has his or her own illustration, because 13th Doctor, I think, is Rachel... Stott's usually her illustrator. But anyway, each Doctor has her own illustrator and writer, so it's always interesting that every Doctor, glimpse we get looks different, literally, because someone else is doing it differently. So I guess we have the Path of the Skulls for the first Doctor. Any thoughts about him? And Ian and Susan and Barbara, the classic?
No. Things, throughout the whole thing, things felt slightly... familiar. Mm-hmm. So at the start of it, in the forest, I was like, oh, they're in the Dalek home planet.
Right.
And then they see the skulls, and I'm like, oh, maybe they're in the Aztec. And that may be sort of the intention, was
callback.
To just sort of give a few little bits of callback. That's where I'll start. I know you're going to go on to the second one in a minute. And I had a bit of confusion about the cards in the second one.
Well, that first Doctor I thought was interesting, because, it's only 3 pages of panels, of course, but it's so, it's exactly how the first Doctor stories sound. Those classic, every characterization is great. I think my only, if I had to do a critique, is the first Doctor does not quite look like Bill Hartnell. Kind of looks like the guy that played him in the 5 Doctors. I forget the actor's name.
I did love the bit where, because the 12th Doctor sort of narrates through all of these, and I loved this idea, the 12th Doctor sort of pipes up and says, wow, trying to be old and grumpy and important like you do when you're young, which I thought was really funny, and that made me giggle.
Yeah, but I thought it was really on point. And then we go into Card Conundrum, featuring the second Doctor and Jamie, and Ben and Polly, which that's early days. I don't think I've ever seen that combination on screen, personally, because the Highlander I believe that's what it's called. When we meet Jamie is one of the lost episodes. So, and I'm trying to remember when Ben and Polly left. But anyway, you sort of get that crowded TARDIS in a way. But yeah, they're sort of having this random adventure featuring alien playing cards on an
As
test.
you do.
Yeah. So what'd you think?
And this was sort of, I didn't understand it like he's like, oh, I've got a plan, and then they're like, hey, you did it, and I don't know what.
It took me a while, but I think what it was, and again, this isn't for spoilers. So he was saying that you catch these big card aliens, they transform into actual playing cards, and then they have these choices of different cards. And it's hard to tell, but they're actually letters. And so then they take him to the throne room, and he says, they're an insectoid species. And this is the throne, I wonder. And he put Q for queen.
Oh, okay.
It took me a while, because I didn't get it either. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay. It maybe took me like 3 minutes to think about it. And I was like, oh, that's a Q. It's a throne. It's a queen. Oh, queen bee or queen,
Yeah,
So
okay. I did not think that far into it, I'm afraid.
Yeah. The Third Doctor.
Are you going to go through all the Doctors?
Yeah, we can go quickly. Well, we can go really fast. Invasion of the Scorpion Men, featuring the Third Doctor and Sarah Jane. I thought the John Pertwee artwork is spot on.
Yes, Sarah Jane less so.
Yeah. So, and it's very fantastical as the Third Doctor.
Bessie makes an appearance.
Yes, right. So, the Sonic and all that stuff. So I thought it was very good. And I like the whole narrative structure of this comic. Like the references or the narrative structure of the Doctor, presumably talking sort of in a, I don't know what this, as an English teacher, what would this, like reflective third person? Because it's almost like another person saying it, but it's to themselves.
Yes,
but
yeah.
It's from I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know what you mean.
But anyway, they sprinkled with all these famous, lines from Doctor Who, but paraphrased and applied to different Doctors sometimes. And so, throughout of it's very cool, I think.
Yeah.
Well, the Fourth Doctor is the most jarring style because it's very cartoony with the second Romana.
Quite Archie comics, isn't it?
Yeah. And I almost didn't... It threw me off. The appearance threw me off. And then the Fourth Doctor looks so cartoony. He's a little younger than I usually would think of him as. So I think the Romana characterization is pretty on point, but the Fourth Doctor it did throw me off a little bit. So, I mean, the story was interesting, in as much as it was, but it was a little off with the Fourth Doctor, in my opinion. And then with the Fifth Doctor, I thought it was very on point, and it was sort of a callback to the 12th Doctor and Clara.
Yes, I did pick that up, that they were in that same place.
The cloisters in Gallifrey. I thought, it even has Turlo, who I hate. But it's a complete Fifth Doctor experience there. So we even get a regeneration of a Time Lord into a woman, and I think Tegan is like, oh, they can, or Nyssa is like, oh, yeah, I didn't know you could change gender, and the Doctor's like, of course we can. And then we go into the Sixth Doctor, and Perry. Now I have to say, very good with the characterization. I mean, I could hear the Sixth Doctor's voice, unfortunately.
Well, and you can see Perry's bosom, so there's that as well.
So, but I thought that one was very on point. So which of course means I don't like it. But I thought it was very on point. And then we get the Seventh Doctor and Ace.
Yep.
And then, this one surprised me a little bit because we sort of were having sort of small situations, but then we actually do get a Master.
Absolutely.
Yes. And Caesar, which I'm always a friend of, in a little time travel.
And then the 12th Doctor does the voiceover of, oh, you get along much better when she's a woman.
The 8th Doctor one was a little hard. Little cartoony. I mean, I thought it was good. I was trying to hear Paul McGann's voice, and it wasn't coming as easily.
And this companion...
Yeah, I don't know, is my answer.
I wasn't sure if it was one that had appeared in the Big Finish or something. What is she called?
I was trying to remember.
They give her name somewhere.
I can't remember.
Josie,
and the Pussycats. Yeah, so I was not familiar with Josie.
Yeah, I got nothing.
So that one's a little more random. Or speaking of random, we go in order here. We're doing all of them, folks. We're doing all of them.
Except for Peter Cushing.
That's right. But we do have a War Doctor one.
We do have a War Doctor, and he smiles at some point, and that's creepy.
Yeah, we even have a Dorium cameo, if you will. I mean, I thought that was cool. Like I said, they went through all the Doctors. Mm-hmm. So he definitely... I can see if they're almost trying to make his story kind of bend towards the Ninth Doctor a little bit, like to see the characterization. Because since we know so little about the War Doctor, he sort of does have this sort of weird fruit bomb that he does fighting the Daleks, which is sort of, the whole banana reference to the Ninth Doctor. But I thought it was an interesting War Doctor episode story. And of course, speaking of which, we get to the Ninth Doctor with Rose and Jack. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep. It was obviously nice to have Jack along.
Yeah, and I think the Ninth Doctor pleading with someone is usually very Ninth Doctor-y.
Pleading with someone not to cause their own destruction because of terrible things they've done.
Right. And I was thinking, this sort of features the Mongols, though, it really features more of an alien in the Mongols. But the Mongols, there's always been a line about the Mongols sort of trying to invade the TARDIS or something. I don't know if this was the reference they were making. And then that takes us to the 10th Doctor, a little bit of British history lesson.
And I didn't know who he was with.
Oh, I don't either. Yeah, and this may be a comic thing, but yeah, this is a non-TV companion. But this is a little introducing the first woman to be a doctor in British history. So
that was interesting. I can't remember if they gave the girl's name, not the first Doctor, they give hers, but if they gave the companion's name.
I'm sure they do without going through everything. And then, of course, you go to the 11th Doctor, and with who else? River Song.
Oh, yes, of course.
We also had a strange companion with him, too, as well.
Yeah.
It almost looks like Bill. Yeah. So I guess there's so much we don't know in the comic verse, darling.
I guess. Yeah, that got a little strange.
It did, and I also thought it wasn't a great illustration of River Song. Literally. I think the characterization, the writing's good, but the art's a little off. But,
yeah.
And then with the 12th Doctor, of course.
Then we properly get Bill.
Yes, proper Bill and proper 12th Doctor. So I thought that was interesting, too. So, yeah. So we'll just sort of think of this in this sort of calls.
Yeah, I really liked the sort of review of everybody. And I liked the voiceover bits. It's just kind of a nice, here's your history moment that I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, these are all...
Even if I didn't understand all the stories.
Yeah. And so this is Titan Comics for those who want to look this up. But yeah, I thought that was definitely... I forget how much I paid for it at the convention. Not much is my recollection.
Yeah, you paid in advance, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
No, I paid cash for the... You had to, reserve, or else, risk playing the odds when you got there.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a little bit of comics, which we don't often do. So, anyway... But I guess that's it. Until next week, we hope...
When we talk about something other than Galley.
Exactly.
Thank you for your patience and indulgence as we work through this.
But yes, until next week, we hope you enjoy reading, listening, and watching the Doctor's adventures throughout time and space.
This is BBC Television.